You're going to know buy or skip for your remote work routine almost immediately. This is the HP 14DQ0040NR in Snowflake White and is designed around a thin, light setup for everyday work. Here's the deal breaker test. If your day requires heavy multitasking or you need lots of local storage, skip it, because this model is built with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. Remote work isn't just working from home. It's switching locations without warning, taking calls from wherever you can find quiet, and finishing tasks while real life keeps moving. The problem is, if your laptop feels clunky or visually cramped, you start avoiding moving around, and your day becomes less flexible. The benefit with this HP is the portability-first approach the page emphasizes. It's described as thin and light, with a 6.5mm micro-edge bezel display and a 79% screen-to-body ratio, which is basically a design that tries to maximize what you see while keeping the footprint compact. That matters when you're closing the laptop to move to a different room for a meeting, reopening it fast to answer a message, or setting up on a small table without feeling like the device owns the space. Mini conclusion. If your routine depends on being able to set up quickly, pack up quickly, and still feel like you're working on a real screen, this design language is aligned with that reality. Now, the second problem is the daily clarity problem. You're staring at your screen for email, documents, and web dashboards, and you don't want the screen to feel like a tiny window where everything is squeezed. The benefit here is specific. The listing calls out a 14-inch HD display at 1367 by 768 and repeats the micro-edge idea as a virtually no bezel look, which is a visual choice aimed at keeping your attention on the content instead of the frame. That's helpful in everyday remote moments, like having a video call open while you pull up an agenda or scanning a long email thread while you're also checking a shared document in another tab. Quick reality check. 1367 by 768 is a straightforward HD resolution, so you should treat it as a practical work screen for common tasks, not a sharp detail screen meant for people who demand ultra-crisp text and extra-fine visuals all day. Mini conclusion. If your work is mostly reading, typing, browsing, and meetings, the 14-inch HD format supports the routine, as long as you're not expecting premium sharpness as the main reason to buy. The third problem is the one people feel after a few hours: performance consistency. You start the day with a couple tabs, a call, and a document, and then the workload grows. More tabs open, more messages, a second call, maybe you're streaming a training clip while you're taking notes. The benefit is that the product page positions the dual-core Intel Celeron N4020 as a balance of performance, power consumption, and value, and it pairs that with Intel UHD Graphics 600. In daily terms, that's the kind of configuration aimed at straightforward productivity and media, not heavy creative workloads. HP also claims smoothly stream 4K content with Intel UHD Graphics 600, which is useful if part of your remote routine includes watching high-quality content after work, or if you rely on video-based learning and want playback to feel stable. Storage and memory are also clearly stated: 64 GB of flash-based storage and 4 GB of RAM. That combination can work well when your workflow is cloud-first, meaning you keep important files online, you don't hoard huge folders locally, and you keep your open apps intentional instead of letting everything pile up. One downside is that Windows 11 S can restrict how you install apps, so you should confirm your essential tools fit that environment before you commit. A second downside is that 4 GB of RAM with 64 GB of storage can feel tight if you keep lots of files on the device or expect to juggle many things at once without thinking about it. Mini conclusion. The page is describing a laptop that makes sense for light, everyday remote work with disciplined habits, but it is not positioned as a throw-anything-at-it machine. If you're a remote worker who mainly needs a thin, easy-to-carry 14-inch Windows laptop for email, web-based work, documents, and video calls, this is a smart buy. If you need lots of local storage, heavy multitasking headroom, or you rely on specific apps that may not fit Windows 11 S, skip it. If this sounds like the kind of practical upgrade you've been looking for, you'll find a link to the HP 14DQ0040NR laptop in the description below. Take a moment to check the details, read more reviews, and see if it fits your needs on Amazon. Some links are affiliate links, so I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. The clean way to think about this HP 14DQ0040NR is that the listing is selling a specific kind of convenience: thin and light mobility with a modern-looking front. The micro-edge bezel and 79% screen-to-body ratio are there to make the device feel less bulky and more usable in small spaces, and the 14-inch HD screen size is aimed at everyday work without forcing you to carry a bigger laptop. The fit comes down to how you actually work. If your remote routine is mostly browser tools, email, documents, and meetings, the Intel Celeron N4020 and Intel UHD Graphics 600 are positioned for that kind of day. The 4K streaming claim is a nice bonus if you watch a lot of content or learning material, but the real decision point is the 4 GB RAM and 64 GB flash storage, because that pushes you toward a lighter, cloud-oriented workflow where you stay organized and don't expect endless multitasking capacity. If you want this to be a confident decision, verify the details that affect day-to-day comfort, especially anything tied to how you connect accessories and how the laptop handles your typical